Hello and welcome back to Exeter City, where we take on the semi-finals of the Papa John's Trophy now, along with a league game. I'll see you in a moment. It is that league game first though, and it's an away game, of which we've lost the last two in the league. We did, however, beat second place Swindon in the away game before those. Leyton Orient at home, Barrow at home. We've done those as well. 2 draws since we last met as well, along with a win at Walsall and a win over Scunthorpe in the league to boot, although Scunthorpe kind of mimicking their real-life counterparts towards the bottom of the table. So, an expected victory, that one. All that means is we are still first. 12 points clear. It's very likely I just bring you the final, if we get through this semi-final, or the end of the season after this. It's still quite tight between 2nd and 8th, so there's not a lot of difference between winning the league and not being in the automatic promotion spots. 2 points that gap currently. So it's 12 points over 2nd, 14 over 4th. We play Mansfield, who are 8th, and we have lost 2 of our games in the last 3. 2 Bristol Rovers, who are 13th, and Bradford, who are 6th. Speaking of Mansfield, we did sell Jonathan Grounds, whose contract was up at the end of the year, I believe, for basically nothing, but it's just his wages off the bill, which was about £1,000. And similarly, Nigel Atangana went for nothing, but he was on £1,000 as well. So, £2,000 released. We brought in Michael Falevi on a free agent who's decent as a pressing forward, so solid backup, actually belongs to us. We'll be back up this year, probably will be back up next year. And we also brought in Andre Wisdom, with Jonathan Grounds going on top of the Hartree sale from before. Kind of figured we did actually need a little bit more cover in centre-back, technically a starter possibly. Really feels in their role that Hartridge left for the time being. Can also cover right-back in a pinch, of course. But he is 6'1", 13 tackling. He's not that good actually going forward, so he is more of a central defender, in my opinion. I also can't believe he's only 28. Just one of those people who feels like he's been around for about 15 years. Cannot remember if Ramirez was injured in the last episode or not, but he's still got about 2 months to go, which is insane, but he will be back before the end of the season. We've had a major injury crisis. There was at one point we had 7 people injured. We've still got 4 returning to fitness. The goalkeeper is still not available, along with the third choice goalkeeper, and Ramirez on full injuries. So we do have to start with Scott Brown in goal. I'm also just going to do some minor rotations just to keep the squad as fresh as possible for the important trophy game next, which I'm now considering as important considering the stage we're at. Brown in goal, Caprice, Stubbs, Sweeney, McLaughlin at right back, Dieng, Soule, Collins, Jay, Brown and Barnes up front. Keeping as much strength of the front end as I possibly can. Mansfield, of course, have Matty Longstaff along with Rayhan Tulloch, who I'm pretty certain is on loan from West Brom, I want to say. So they've got some good loanees. Taylor Gardner-Hickman as well is a name I'm pretty certain I've had at some point. I want to say we had him at York. I also don't think he was a right back then. I'm pretty certain he was a winger then. And I'm pretty certain we played him in Burton and he never played particularly well. Well, it's a thrilling game against Mansfield. I will take a point here. You know, Mansfield doing okay in the top 8, away from home. We've lost to other teams in this kind of region of the table recently. A draw would very much stem the tide in terms of away form. We did win the home game in between those 2 losses, so come on. I should say, and I didn't really highlight it, we did draw with Rotherham in the trophy. We won on penalties. There's a highlight now for us, which is a novelty for this game. Oh, good God, what was that pass? Although Dieng's got it back and given it away straight away anyway, so what was the point? So Gardner-Hickman was on loan from West Brom as well. Are Mansfield connected to West Brom? I mean, Mansfield are, what, Nottinghamshire? They're not super far away from West Brom, I don't think, but you'd presume Forest would be their rival, actually, probably. Let's be real. Not a feeder club. People are really tired already. This is not going well. Nombe is available. Don't have enough midfielders available to keep Dieng fresh. You know, I'm probably going to have to bring on Fleming here because, again, Caprice has been terrible. On paper, he's a very competent backup left-back. In games, I'm pretty certain I've never seen him do more than a 6.5. As Sam Stubbs goes close from a corner. But Morton, who I did bring on there without really mentioning his name, laying courage just to see if we can get anything out of this. It's been a pretty unspectacular game, all told. The XG combined is less than 1. McLaughlin, though, for them. They're McLaughlin. Didn't realise they had one. I just knew what was happening. As soon as the ball went into the box, I just knew they were about to score. Now, obviously, bear in mind our goalkeeper has been injured for some of these games as well, so we are using a 2-star one. As soon as that ball went in, I just knew the defender was being beaten to the ball. In fact, who was contesting that? Why was Morton the one marking their striker? My post-match response was wrong. They said we should have won that based on the numbers. The numbers said 0.6 each, so 1-1 at best. 0-0 probably actually the best result there. Looks like results in the league have sort of gone our way, actually, as we've only lost 2 points. As Leyton Orient win, but Swindon don't. And we're still 12 clear of 4th, the far superior goal difference. So we still effectively got 4 free wins, or 4 free losses, before we have to completely panic. But for this trophy game, we are going to have to let a few tired players play. The only one I'm sort of letting step out is Sam Stubbs, because he's also apparently jaded and can do with the rest. So if I can keep him fresh for the remainder of the league season, fine. But we are without our key defender. Dawson is back, though, in goal. Fleming back in at left back. Just let him step out of the last game. Fernandez, the lonely defender you've not really seen that much. Wisdom will line up alongside him with McLaughlin at right back. Morton in the Volante alongside Sule, who's a bit tired. Collins in front of them. Jay, who's okay. Brown, who's a bit tired. And Birith is also back, crucially. So yeah, whilst we have lost 3 games in recent memory, 3 away games, in fairness, 3 away games to decent sides, that has happened during a period where we've not had strikers or a goalkeeper. Good ones, at least. Because Falevi was injured basically not long after we signed him, and then Birith was injured. So we have had to use Marcus Barnes as a striker for the most part since we last met, and an injury to the goalkeeper as well hasn't helped matters at all. And Ramirez's injury has sort of left us a little bit short-handed in that area. We're just a little bit thin on the ground in the period since we last met. As I say, we're up to 7 or 8 injuries at one point. It was rather stupid. In a squad that is at most about 20, 25 people, effectively an entire bench's worth of people missing. So we did have to dive deep into the 1-star, 2-star players for a bit, as McLaughlin hooks that one clear only as far as Bowden, who sounds like he belongs in The Hobbit. Brannigan, back to Bowden, who's found Sykes, and that's a good goal. Billy Bowden. I don't recognise a lot of these Oxford names. I mean, I imagine they are first teamers. I know Brannigan is. That's pretty much the only one I do. I'll have a look at their full team to see if there's anyone else I recognise as standard. I think Ford. I'm not super clued up on the Oxford team this year. Again, it's a particularly unspectacular game. I do apologise for this, but sometimes this happens. I wasn't the greatest at team talks, and I could do with a little bit more from the lads here, so I'll encourage them on top of that. Ronnie Brown on the corner to whip it in. Fernandez is there. Close, apparently, but didn't look that close to me. I mean, it's not the best time for neither Jay or Brown to be playing well, is it? Come on, lads. I'm going to have to bring Barnes and... I could bring Falevi on that right-hand side, actually. Nombe for now. Sule's just absolutely broken, so Dieng's going to have to come on. Another encourage, just get back, just get an equaliser, and at the very least take this to penalties would be nice. Do what we did against Rotherham. Highlight. Fleming. Still Fleming. Has released Nombe, who will need to cut back to do a crossing. Oh, I did think Morton was going to get to that first, but he didn't, so that's forgiven now, as we've actually intercepted the ball back again. Collins out to Nombe. Birith, that won't get to. Birith did actually get the header there, but all that does is allow Stevens to fall dramatically to the floor to pick that up. FM still hasn't quite mastered that goalkeeper just putting their foot on the ball, waiting for the attacker to come forward and then pick it up thing. They still just always dramatically fall to the floor. As Oxford actually get a second. Don't think I didn't see it. I was just despairing, frankly. Taylor whips that in and... I mean, it says McLaughlin was beaten to the ball. Neither he or Fernandez jumped, which I would feel like is the most important thing to do if you're defending a corner. Cross. If I could just release my entire squad off that game, I would do. In fact, actually, what I can do is have a go at a few of them. Because that, quite frankly, was the worst performance that we've given, including the Man United game, which we did lose 3-0. Most of them accept their fines. I just straight up fined the underperformers 1 day's wages, so I didn't go too dramatic on them. It has got a reaction out of Archie Collins in terms of the work rate. If you didn't know this was a thing, by the way, if a player has a poor performance, 6.4 or lower, I think it is, you can discipline them for a poor performance. I would normally just start with warning, but considering how poor we were in that game, I went straight to 1 day. And it can improve their work rates. I took that opportunity on my Hanover save with Luca when he had a poor game, and his work rate's now up to 16. It was 13. It didn't happen all at once, but I think it was part of his just general progression. But I find him, and it went up to 14, and then he's done 2 more of his own regard after that. And been sensational. So yeah, if you want to get someone's work rate up, wait for them to have a bad game, discipline them. But we've got a couple of home games to hopefully right this ship. The remaining away games are against bottom of the table, Oldham, 15th Newport, 18th Carlisle, Tranmere 20th. They're doing much better in real life. and Northampton away. So Northampton away is the toughest one remaining, I would argue. In fact, even the home games aren't against... Crawley at home is the only tough game remaining, actually, in terms of positioning. Crawley at home, 4th, Northampton away, 9th, and Colchester at home, they're 10th currently. They're sort of the toughest 3. The remainder are actually really quite kind. We've got through the tough period. We didn't get through it well, but we're through it. And I think really it does hinge on the next 4 games, and whether I bring you back just for the last game or the last 2. And like I say, we're still relatively well clear. We're still 10 points clear at the top, so we've effectively got 3 free losses in this period if we so needed them. And they're bound to drop points as well at some point. So, and in terms of Crawley, who are 4th, we've got 12 points on them, so it's 4 free wins, including that game. So if we lose that one, we've got 3 others that we can get away with, because our goal difference is so good. So there's a good chance I just bring you back for the last one or the last 2, and we might already be promoted at that point. It might be a bit anticlimactic, I am aware, but it's more of a season review episode, I would imagine. I'll see how it progresses over the next few games, and regardless of which matches I actually bring you, I will see you at the end of the season regardless. So until then, thank you for watching, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I'm actually annoyed I didn't get through the Papa John's, which is a feeling I wasn't expecting. Anyway, until next time, ta-ra.